Onya, Akwe, Omode, Omaku, Ibusho. Welcome to Enuani Cultural Forum, where we promote the rich cultural heritage of the Igbo people. I'm so glad to have you on board. Today we are looking at a very interesting topic. You may say we have discussed this before, but we cannot discuss it enough. We have to continue to hammer it in so that the message can go to the people who want it to get to. It is with your help that this message can get to the right audience. Today we are discussing Igbo in 13 states. Remember, the Igbo speaking people are not just the 5 states in the southeast, okay? The Igbo speaking people are in at least 13 states of the Federation where they are indigenous. Outside the 5 core states in the southeast, there are more Igbo speaking people in 8 other states. Where are the other 8 states? And why do those people, the Igbo people there, sometimes say they are not Igbos? Very simple. And quite frankly, when somebody tells you they are not Igbo, they are not trying to deny their identity per se. They are trying to say they are not from the southeast. So that is why you saw this title of today's video that says, "Stop using political geography to divide Ndi Igbo." The division among Ndi Igbo started with cartography, a system whereby people are grouped into different clans, states, regions, even when they are not similar people, even when there are people who are not practicing the same culture, who do not have history with each other, they are grouped into the same region. We have such classical examples in having the Ijos in Ondo State, Ijos in Bayelsa, Ijos in Delta, Ijos in River State, Ijos in Cross River State, Ijos in Akwa Ibom State. None of these, Ijos even in Edo State, none of these Ijo people can ever come out to tell you they are no longer Ijo because they are now in Ondo, or they are now in Edo, or they are now in Delta, or Bayelsa, or Rivers. They still remain Ijo people. That is what we are pushing for our Igbo people. This will tell you that beyond geographical location, there are other factors that are fueling this denial of Igbo identity. And this denial of Igbo identity is not only peculiar with ordinary people. Of course, we have been able to see professors who are knowledgeable, people who are thoroughly educated, denying their Igbo identity. We have also seen members of the elite, people like the Ngozi Okonjo-Iwealas of this world, celebrating their Igbo identity. We have seen people like Professor Pat Otomi celebrating his Igbo identity, the Elumelus of this world, celebrating their Igbo identity, even though they are not from the core place that you would like to refer as Igbo land, that is the 5 southeastern states. This video is aimed at letting us know that whether you are from the southeastern states or not, it does not diminish your Igbo identity. You are Igbo not because you are from the southeast or you are carved into a region by those who do not even want our own good. The region called southeastern part of Nigeria was created by the Nigerian government, and it only contains 5 states. That is the region that has the least number of states in Nigeria. When some have 7, some regions have 6, the southeast has 5. Even right now, as they are looking to create an extra state to add to it from her own people, the Anioma state, some people are still clamoring, no, let them leave Anioma out and still create an extra state from within the 5. The agenda is very simple. to reduce the numerical strength and geographical spread of Ndi Igbo. Otherwise, the Anioma person is as Igbo as the Ngwa man, the Okigwe man, the Onitsha man. The Igbo people of the southeast are the same with Igbo people of Bayelsa State, River State, Cross River State, Edo State, where you have our Ibanke people, Benue State, Kogi State. These are places where the Igbo language is spoken, not as a language they were taught, but as their indigenous language. If you're just joining us, this is Enuani Cultural Forum, and forgive me if I fail to introduce myself for the topic. My name is Onwode Ngozi Chukwuka Fortune, and I'm welcoming you aboard and telling you to please, it is you who will help us to spread this message of unification. Our effort is to unite all Igbo-speaking peoples of Nigeria, then beyond. Because when we started, we only thought we were out to unite Igbo-speaking people only in Nigeria, only for us to start posting videos online, and we discovered that Igbos are scattered all over the world, not as people who went to work as Onye Garolo Igbo, but as people who are resident there for over 100 years, some of them, some 200, some 500 years, even before the Civil War. Because some people say it was during the Civil War that a lot of our people scattered. It wasn't even the Civil War. Way before the Civil War. Our brothers in North Carolina, in West Virginia, in Haiti. Of course, you saw the news recently. I don't like jumping on such news, but if it is worth mentioning that the lady who has been advocating for Christians in Nigeria, that is the Nicki Minaj, has come out to say she has a name that sounds and looks Igbo, Onika, which has the same meaning with the Igbo word Onyeka. Onika is her name, O-N-I-K-A, but Onyeka means no one is greater than God. The same thing her name means. So she is from, she's a New Yorker anyway. So she says she was born in New York. We have our Igbo people spread all over the world, in Gabon, in Equatorial Guinea, in Jamaica, all over the world. So, but in Nigeria, we are concentrating on the 13 Igbo states. You saw our banner picture that brought you into this post. It is discussing what the renowned author and internationally celebrated writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie said during the recently concluded Ncheta Ndi Igbo that held in Enugu, where she averred clearly that Igbo-speaking people are in at least 13 states of the Federation, and she listed them out, also stating that each of these states is her hometown. She said how she feels at home whenever she lands at the airport in Asaba, or in Enugu, or in Anambra, whichever part of Igbo land, or in Port Harcourt, whichever part of Igbo land she lands in, she feels at home. This is to tell you that Igbo Bofu, we must stop addressing ourselves with just political boundaries. Political boundaries are new and they are fleeting. These political boundaries set by politicians for their own cartography that is for them to know who can govern here, who can govern there. It doesn't necessarily in any way reflect the identity of those people. Otherwise, you will not have a bunch of people who are Igbos in Edo State. You will not have Igbo-speaking people in Kogi mixed with other people who are not Igbos, who are Egala. So, if it was aimed at promoting cultural unification and identity, Igbo-speaking people would have been grouped together. All right? when creating River State, a place like Port Harcourt that is traditionally for Igbos wouldn't have been carved into River State if he wanted not to divide the Igbo. But the aim was very clear: divide and rule. What we are doing today here as Enuani Cultural Forum and all the sister fora that you have seen that are online, we have so many of us doing this beautiful job of unification. You have Igbo Ezue, Chifoye Madokaini be doing this. You have Nnamen, Chukwuemeka. You have the tribes, Amadi, my brother from River State. In fact, just this morning, I saw a video of General Asabuja stating clearly that he is an Igbo man. He also went further to warn anyone who is trying to use the word Niger Delta to try and divide us. Because you hear some people saying, I am from Niger Delta, I am not Igbo. What? What does it take to become a member of Niger Delta? Is it to have crude oil or to be near the creeks? Are we not near the creeks? If it's oil and gas, does any state in Africa have more oil and gas than Imo State? If it is oil and gas. So I don't think it is oil and gas. It is just anything that can take away people from the numerical strength of Ndi Igbo. Otherwise, an Hausa man doesn't know Urobo. He doesn't know the word Urobo. He doesn't know if people are from Urobo. He doesn't know Isoko. He doesn't know Ijo. He doesn't know Ichekiri. What he knows is that as long as you are not Yoruba, in fact, sometimes they include Yoruba people as Ndi Igbo. I'm telling you, and I will prove this. He doesn't know if you are Yoruba. What he knows is as long as you are not from northern Nigeria, you are an Igbo man. How do they include Yoruba people as Ndi Igbo? When Justice Oputa was conducting his Oputa panel to investigate things that happened before and after the genocidal war against Ndi Igbo, he discovered one Ademoyega. And now, how can Ademoyega be classified? They said he was presumed as Igbo, so he was classified as an Igbo person. And he's one of the people who led the coup. What about Banjo and the rest? They were all classified as Ndi Igbo. So, to the Yoruba, to the Hausa people, there's nothing like Ishekiri. There's no Ijo. There's no Urobo. There's no Isoko. They are all Igbo people. Even the Bini people of today, Uromi, Esan, they are all Igbo people. So the earlier we started understanding this, the better. Somebody will say, okay, just because they don't know we are different, so we should accept their nomenclature. No. You can be distinct and still identify with a larger tribe. Nobody is saying you should throw your identity away. No. It is these collective identities, these individual identities that make the collective identity more beautiful. I am an Obolo person. I cannot stop being an Obolo man, but I am Igbo. Before you can now call me an Obolo man, you first of all say, Onya Abo Igbo. Now you can ask which part of Igbo land. Ma gwawazi age that. Na Abo Moyo Obolo. Na Nyocha South local government area of Delta State. So, what I'm doing here basically today is to preach the message of Igbo unification. Let it not be this our sister alone that is doing it. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. We have been doing it. We are not just online as well. This year we held a conference. 2 years ago we held a conference. We called it Igbo Unification Conference. This year's one was Ndị na-asụ bịa n'oru na ndịda ọgbakọ Igbo zara Igbo. Ihe anyị ji kpọọ Igbo zara Igbo is that there are people bụ Igbo mana anaghị aza na ha bụ Igbo. Ịkpọọ ya onye Igbo, he may even fight you. Ahụla m ndị na-asụ Igbo to deny their Igbo identity. And somebody is comfortably speaking Igbo, using that Igbo language to tell you, abụkwana m onye Igbo, akpọzụkwa m onye Igbo, ịchịzụkwa m onye Igbo, ama amayakwa ya ọgwụ, ama etikwa ya ọkpọ, ama akwụkwọ ya ọkpọ n'isi, abụna m onye Igbo. Using Igbo to deny your Igbo identity. Who is this one? Don't impose Igbo on others. We can unite without adopting Igbo. That clearly, if you have been watching this video, you hear what I said. I said you can have your individual identity. That is what makes the collective beautiful. Okay? What I said is this. I am from Ubuluku. I am an Obolo man. Being Igbo cannot change me from being an Obolo man. My hometown will not later change and move from Delta State to Anambra. I am still from this geographical location called Delta. If government decides tomorrow they don't want to call it Delta anymore and give it a new name, what will I tell people? I'm no longer Delta. I am now. Do you know how much we have suffered in terms of identity? In terms of identity, this region has suffered. We have been called Western Igbo people, Western Igbos. We have been called Midwestern Igbo people. We have been called Bendel Igbos. We have been called Delta Igbos. We are still called Delta Igbos. Now they are calling us Anyoma people. These are fleeting political names and identities that cannot stand the test, the strenuous test of time. They are not identity that is cultural. It is political. Therefore, it will continue to change. If tomorrow they decide, the government decides, we don't like this name Delta anymore, give it a new name. Say Ordinary State. We will become Ordinary State. But that is not our identity. It is a political identity meant for cartography, meant for governance, not for your own good as a cultural person. So my cultural identity is as an Igbo man. If your cultural identity is as an Isoko man, you will remain an Isoko man. Nothing can change that though. But when we are talking about a general collective, if I see an Isoko person fighting against the cause of Ndibo, I laugh at that person because it simply means that person knows not history. When Denis Osadebe needed to have this place called Midwestern States, he did not jump out and start doing it alone. He reached out to people like Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, an Enuani man. He's a son of Ezechima, but in Onitsha. He reached out to people. He reached out to Dr. Michael Okpara. He did not reach out to them for let them just talk on phone. Michael Okpara moved with Denis Osadebe from community to community. And I'm not just saying community. Let me list communities that I can remember in the videos that I watched, because it is well documented. Now, these people moved from Asaba to Ogwashuku, from Ogwashuku to Abo, from Abo to Abo. From Abo, they moved to Eku. From Eku, they went to Abraka. From Abraka, they proceeded to Wari. They went to Patani. These people went everywhere. What were they doing? They were begging people to please, in the next referendum, vote for us to have Midwestern states. And they did. Urobo people voted for Midwestern state creation. Isoko people voted. All these people voted for what Michael Okpara and Denis Osadebe advocated for. They were regarded as Midwestern people. It did not change their identities. The same way, if tomorrow these people are carved into this territory called Igbo land or Biafra territory, if Nigeria divides, let me even ask you, since you are engaging with me, this my brother, let me read your next comment. Bro, no wind us to EU isn't called the British Union. No why us. The EU isn't called the British Union. Okay, let me ask you. If Biafra comes, let's assume Biafra is created as a country, and it is called Igbo People's Country because they are the majority, okay? Would you rather stay with Nigeria or go with Biafra people? I would like to read your response. EU is different from what you're talking about. I was thinking you would say the United Kingdom. That's what I thought. And I thought you would give me small example with Hausa that is in northern Nigeria. Do you think northern Nigeria is just made of Hausa and Fulani? There are no fewer than 10 different ethnic groups in the north. More than 10 different ethnic groups in the north. I mean, not just in the entire north. Each state has more than 10. Some states have 4, 5. And you all call them Hausa people. The person will just smile at your ignorance and continue his journey. You think they are all Hausa? They are not Hausa. Many of them are not Fulani. They are distinct. You have the Kanuris there. You have the Atwap. Different groups in the north. They all come together as one to achieve one political goal. But when we have a political dream here or ambition to achieve, you see one small group coming out to say, hey, I'm not Igbo. Hey, I'm not Igbo. Igbo people should go with their wala. I wish I could join without typing. I lived in the north. Okay, very good. Now, you that lived in the north, okay, very good. Thank you for this understanding. It's very, very simple. And we here regard all of them as northerners. They know within themselves that they are not Hausa people. They are not Fulani. But still, when it is time for them to mobilize as northerners, as Hausa people, they come as a group. It's only within them that you will know their differences. Your mention of Midwest is the best way to rephrase it. Yes, that's true. When we were in the Midwest, when Felix Okotie-Eboh was given appointment as Minister of Finance, the appointment covered the whole Midwest. Oh. Nobody cared whether Felix Okotie-Eboh is a Urobo man or he is not. He has already collected the appointment. Collected it for the Igbo people of Midwest. Because there were Igbos there, Isoko, Urobo, Ijo, all of us were one. When they are clamoring for a cause, they come together in their number. But now when we are going for anything that will need us to have number, you will see people who will pull back to say, maybe I go, Joe, and not be Igbo. That divide and rule is affecting us. It's even affecting us, the ones that identify as Igbo, that are truly Igbo, because I am Igbo. Okay, in Delta State, we have 4 major ethnic groups. We have the Delta Igbos, which is the largest. Some people don't know that Delta Igbo is the largest in Delta. You are a Delta, I believe. We have 25 local government areas in Delta State. 9 are Igbo-speaking people. The remaining 8 are shared between Delta South and Delta Central. 8. And this Delta South and Delta Central has Urobo people, Isoko, Ishekiri, and Ijo. We have 5 ethnic groups in Delta. 5. Urobo, Isoko, Ishekiri, and Ijo. These 4 people will now share the remaining 16. Remaining 16 LGAs, while the Igbos have 9. All the 9 local governments in Delta North are Igbo, in Anioma, where you call Delta North, are Igbos. But when you come inside, our people say that it is when you enter into a building, you start seeing the rooms. You now know, this building is quite big. It is when you have entered inside this Delta North, you now know that, some people are, among them are Ekao, some are Ndokwa, some are Enuani, some are even Yoruba speaking, Olukumi, but they are now among the Igbos in Delta North. So that is just it. We are, even in a community, my own community, we have the Ndi-Idu, those are the Bini people who are settlers in our midst. We have Umuezemu, we have our uniqueness. But when we come out generally, you think, all these ones are Buluku people. You will not know that in our midst, we have our differences. That is how it is in every tribe, I believe. I don't quite understand the comments about Yoruba. Are they related to Igbo? Okay, the Yoruba people I mentioned here is that there's a group called Olukumi speaking people in Delta North. And they are of Yoruba stock. They migrated to this place from Owo. In fact, they speak a version of Yoruba language. The word I even said we use in referring to them, Olukumi, is what they were calling our ancestors. They will say, Olukumi. Olukumi means my friend in Yoruba language. While our people will call them Ndi Okonzo. In fact, the name of their community now is Okonzo. We have Okonzo, Ubodu, Uboba. There's this Nigerian footballer called Ndoka Ubade. He's from there. You see them bearing Igbo Yoruba name. Ubade is Yoruba. Ndoka is Igbo name. You see a king called Adebowale Ochei. You bear Igbo and Yoruba names together. Nwachukwu Adeyemi. Those kind of names. They are unique people, but they are Yoruba from their migration, but now they identify as Igbo because they speak a version of Igbo language as well. That's the Yoruba people I mentioned. The other one that I mentioned, Yoruba again, is that I said Hausa people perceive Yoruba as Igbo. They perceive some Yoruba people as Igbo. To them, once you are not a Northerner, all of you are Igbo people. Before you now start explaining that you are Yoruba. I said Adewole Ademoyega they said he was presumed Igbo. He's one of the coup plotters of the January boys of 1966. Ademole Adeboyega was written down as an Igbo person in the military documents. And I said, why? His name is clearly Yoruba. They said, yes, but he was presumed Igbo. So why I'm saying it is that they see, the way we see them is how they see us. We see them as Northerners. Therefore, everybody in the North, whether thief, those middle belts, we don't even see anything as middle belt. All of them are Northerners. Even the middle belters now are complaining, we are not Northerners. We are middle belt. If they just push for a nation like Biafra and call it Aizon land, for example, would other tribes stand behind that movement? I don't think so. You know that the Jaws, their own is very unique. They are what people who dwell around the waters. But I feel if they pushed, back then when we pushed for Biafra, most parts of Ijaw land were included. If they push separately, in fact, the bite of Biafra, is it not around Ijaw territory? The bite of Biafra. Some Ijaw communities are Igbo speaking as well. People like Kalabari are of Igbo origin. Because you cannot deny the intermarriages between these groups. We marrying them marrying us. You can't be a fisherman, kill your fish and eat it by yourself. You have to kill the fish, catch the fish from the waters, sell it to these Igbos who will go and sell it in the mainland, in the hinterland. So the relationship between those who are in upland, who are in the water, is very, very mutual. Very, very mutual. They intermarried. So if they just push for their own separate nation, they have other people who are not Ijaw, who are water dwelling, they will merge up with them. They have no option. People who live in Germany today are not all Germans. Just like people who live in, even if Biafra had come, people who are living in Biafra were not all Igbo. Okay, let me give an example. People like Akanu Ibiam was governor of Eastern region, right? People like Philip Effiong was second in command to Ojukwu. He's from the so-called minority tribes. When Isaac Adakaboro pushed for Niger Delta State, he was not only clamoring for people of Rivers State to be that Niger Delta State. He in his geographical map, Niger Delta State even stretched to Delta, Edo, people who were not the same tribe with him as a Rivers State man, but he was pushing for that. One tribe cannot build a nation, the same way one man cannot rule a kingdom. That's what I feel. Biafra is named after the bite of Biafra, a water body. Yes, that's true. And that water body is not here, it's around the Ijaw area. NG Biafra is an Ijaw name. They came up with the name. Okay, thank you. Thank you for this contribution. Philip Effiong was the vice president of Biafra and the second president of Biafra. That's true. And he was the one who handed over. Biafra is not an Ijaw name. A lot of Ijaws rejected Biafra. Oh, okay. A lot of Igbos even rejected Biafra. You know that? So that's, you cannot have a general acceptability of something. People will reject, people will kick against. It is always your battle until you win it. Then it becomes our victory. If Biafra was a country, or if it had succeeded to secede from Nigeria, if Biafra had succeeded to secede from Nigeria, it was the fastest growing region in the world as at then, before the invasion of Biafra. 2 times Biafra was invaded. First by the British, and then by Nigeria, with all the people who supported them, including the British. The first invasion was during the Ekumeku resistance. It lasted for 32 years. Google it now. Ekumeku is E-K-U-M-E-K-U. Eku, E-K-U-M-E-K-U. Ekumeku. Ekumeku colonial resistance struggle lasted for over 32 years. It is the longest lasting anti-colonial resistance in the history of mankind. That happened, and my community is the headquarters of Ekumeku. Yoruba is Yoruba. You don't see one tribe imposing on others. Let me see. This person is Adesoji. Adesoji, please pay attention. He said the last comment should enlighten you. Most of you are egoistical. No, this is not about ego. Huh? I learn so much. I love to learn from people. Let me tell you a story. Adesoji. I met a young girl yesterday where I went to repair my phone here in Asaba. Her name is NK. They were calling her NK. So I thought maybe Nkechi or Nkiru. So when I asked her, what is the meaning of this NK? She said it is the Igbo name she picked up. But why pick up Igbo name? She said she's Yoruba. What is your name? She said Oluwatosin. I said Oluwatosin is a good name. Why did you have to pick up Igbo name? He said, people like calling her the way she doesn't want to be called. So she picked an Igbo name to fit in. She's in Asaba. She repairs phones. I said, how can a girl be bearing Igbo, Yoruba, and what is it called? Yoruba and Igbo name together? He said, just to fit in. I said, don't try to fit in, stand out. My hometown, and I've never failed to mention it. The founder of my hometown, who is my father, if I trace myself back, is to his lineage. He's from Yoruba land. Hear that again, Adesoji. I said the founder of my hometown and all his 5 siblings who founded communities. I'm going to list their communities. His name is Ezemu of Ubuluku Kingdom. You can browse that and find out what I'm saying. Ezemu of Ubuluku, Ezemu, Ezemu of Ubuluku Kingdom. In fact, he's the 3rd greatest occult grandmaster to ever live in this world, according to historians. He's documented there. Ezemu of Ubuluku. He's the 3rd occult grandmaster. Number 3 in the universe. First in Africa. He's from Europe. He migrated to Ubuluku from Yoruba land, from Ife precisely. And to buttress this point, there are still remnants of Igbo-speaking people in Ife today. I am not the Oni of Ife who came on national TV to talk about it. So there are Ndi Igbo in Ife till this day. And one of the people who left Ife to these western parts of Igbo land as an Igbo man, he was not in Ife as a Yoruba person, as an Igbo man, because all his 5 siblings, let me list their names. Their first son, the oldest brother, is the founder of Obolono. His name is Obodo. Obodo is senior to Ezenalia. Ezenalia, senior to Ezemu. Ezemu is senior to Anega. And Anega is senior to Ekelia. Ekelia is the founder of Ashama. Ezemu founded Ubuluku. Obodo founded Obolono. Anega founded Adonte. These are established big communities in Delta State. The founders are Igbos who migrated from Ife. Their cousin, his name is Timuku, is the founder of Obe Tim in Okwani. So, if it's whether Yoruba and Igbo people are related, yes, they are related. You can't talk about, migration is migration and counter migration. You can have migration and reverse migration. What I just described here is a reverse migration. Igbos going somewhere and coming back. You also saw that kind of story with Ezechima, who went and came back. We have over 200 and something people watching this video. It won't be out of place if I have 50 people giving this video a thumbs up. If you have anything to ask me, you can ask me. If you have anything to correct me, and also correct me. Like I told, I'm just trying to tell you how people are perceived. Perception is very, very important. It is the perception I'm letting you know. In the course of this, my work, thank you, my brother. I thank God somebody else has seen the video. Say, also a professor of University of Lagos. Yes, that is Professor Nkem Onyekpe. He's a professor of history, not just any professor, but a professor of history and international at the Department of History and International Studies, University of Lagos. Also explained it. It's very, very clear. Nobody is trying to claim anything. We're not claiming we are all the owners of Yoruba land or Yorubas are junior to us or senior. If it's whether we are junior or senior, the facts are out there. The oldest Ife art that is discovered, compare it to the oldest Ibuku art. They are at least 400 years apart. Ibuku art is senior to Ife art by at least 400 years. That is about age. And nobody is here to claim whether we are older or we are younger. We're just trying to say Igbo speaking people should unite. We are not just, the Igbos are not just in the 5 southeastern states. That is too small. There is no Igbo in Ife. Stop spreading untrue story, changing narrative to suit the Igbo. No. This also shows now that I am not the one who is not willing to learn. You are the one who is not willing to learn. And to learn, you must be willing to unlearn and relearn. Are you saying you know more than the Oni of Ife? Let me assume the Oni of Ife, you know more than him because you are also Yoruba like him. Do you know more than Professor Nkemo Onyebe, a professor of history? A professor not in any university, but in Yoruba land. A professor in Unilag. A professor of history in Unilag, not an emeritus, currently serving there as a professor. Don't be upset, my brother. Thank you so much. Even me, I've here acknowledged to you that there are people in my own territory. I am from Enuani. These people are in Enuani. I am from Anyocha South. They are in Anyocha North. And there are more than 7 communities joined together. They call themselves Olukumi people. And they are from Owo in Ondo State. And they are currently in Enuani. To show you that they are Yoruba, till today, they still speak a version of Yoruba language, and their king is either called Obi, the Igbo name, or Oloza, the Yoruba name. It is even clearer than some people who say we are from Benin and they can't even understand a word in Benin language. That is if Benin even has its own language, because I can sit here and name more than 20 words in Igbo language that are the same in Benin. Daily use words. It is as simple as that. There are many, and I'm sure what I'm going to do now is when I end this video, I'm going to post a video documentary that I did comparing Igbo words and Benin words, and even some Yoruba words. So don't think Igbos and Yoruba are not related. It is not an anger thing. It is not something that say, hey, you want to dominate us. Nobody, you cannot relocate Onitsha to Oshobo. It's not possible. You Yoruba people are even more the ones who go to your place to dominate. An Anambra man cannot be claiming Enugu. He must return to Anambra. I've never seen Imo State person dragging Abia State, despite how close they are. Ask him where he's from. He will tell you Imo, not Abia. But a Yoruba man from Ekiti will tell you he's from Lagos. They are the owners of Lagos. Igbos are chasing them. It's not that way. Nobody is coming to dominate you or anything. An Igbo man will return to... In fact, it is a taboo when they bury us outside our homeland. If you don't understand it now. Anybody you see they bury outside somewhere, they must have gone to his hometown to do something culturally so that they will not receive repercussions. It is our culture that we must be returned to our home. So we love our homeland so much. Nobody is coming to dominate you anywhere. 156 viewers. Give this video a thumbs up. If you are not yet a subscriber, kindly subscribe to the channel. I'm so glad to have gone through this journey with you. It is my vision that as long as I have time, I will once in a while be doing videos so that we can always interact. Please give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to end it now. Remember Oba, the founder of Benin, and Atta of Egala are brothers. Very, very simple. If I go into that now, they will start saying you are trying to claim them. The founder of Benin is not Oromiyan. If Oromiyan was the founder, where did he invade? He invaded the people that were already established, led by Pa Idu. Idu is Igbo. You have Idu Eri, Idu Ime, and Idu Ife. Idu Ife is where you call Yoruba land. That's how we refer them. There's no telling my mother that there's a place, my grandmother, there's a place called Bini. She knows it as Anidu. Idu Igodomigodo, led by Ndi Ojiso. until Oromiyan invaded that place. They had Aidu Noba. Ndi Idu Mayoba Ogo. Who is the Oba? The Oromiyan who came from Ife. People believe he's a Benin son who went and came back. Whichever way he came. And when he came and brought in the kingship version he brought in, there was chaos. The Republican system became a direct kingship that is a primogeniture, not even directly primogeniture like it is in Igbo culture. The primogeniture is that the king has to affirm you as his successor before you can become his successor. I posted the video lately when Obayewu II talked about it. Thank you so much, Umunemundi Igbo, for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Help the video to come up on the algorithm. I'm going to end the video now because I have other engagements to pursue for the day. Thank you for watching. Share this video. Share this video. Give it a thumbs up. And as an Igbo person, please wear your Igbo identity like a crown, not like a costume. Igbo identity is not a costume. It is a crown. We must continue to wear it and wear it proudly. Dalone. Thank you so much, my brother, Canary King. God bless you. I appreciate every one of you. Hood boy. Thank you so much. Said, do you know all Oba Benis go back to Obu? It is you that is saving this one, not me. If I say it now, they will say I try to dominate them. The naming of Ademoyega, who was one of the coup plotters as Igbo, was intentional to discredit the Igbos. That's true. That's true. But I will even tell you later one reason why I said they are classified as Igbos. Yorubas and Bini people, Hausa people don't see you as anything other than Igbos. If you like, be an imam in Yoruba land. You are not a Muslim to them, or you are still an infidel. I don't want to go into all these ones. I've been in detention at FCID Abuja when I was arrested for doing what I'm doing so. I was picked up, taken to Abuja and detained. It was inside cell that I realized that there's nothing like all those from Uromi, those from Bini, those from Awuchi, those from Yoruba land. All of us are Nyamiri, we're Igbo. We're all classified as Igbo. But we know, even when the Uromi people speak their language, I can't understand what they're saying. But what brought Uromi people to FCID Abuja there was the arson. They arrested all of them and took them to that place. And I met them. A man, he will say he's a Bini man, he's not Igbo. But what they did could have affected the Igbo. Hausa people were already irate. They were saying Igbos destroyed their truck and killed their people in Uromi. Is Uromi Igbo land? But they were still calling him Igbo. So tomorrow you see Uromi man fighting against Igbo man. I am not Igbo. But when he does something now, Hausa people will classify him as Igbo. Let us understand our differences. It is very important for us to do so. We understand our differences instead of trying to accommodate it or try to water it down or forget our differences. We should not forget our differences. We should understand it and live as one. Daloni, thank you so much. We'll have this video some other time.